Great. Well, I've been just chit-chatting away here. So if you're watching on the catch-up, a great big hello and welcome to your practice. The nights are truly drawing in, and we are cruising towards the autumn equinox, and which has come around frighteningly quickly, I have to say. So it's really, really nice that we're here this evening and you're doing this practice. And of course, remember, if you're joining live and you want to do the practice, it's available there for you anytime to do. So I'm kind of, so we've got 90 minutes, which is just lovely. So we can really get cozy and get into the practice. Really, where we're sitting, I always find this quite an interesting time of year because even though we're feeling, it's autumn equinox soon, we're kind of starting to feel a bit autumnal. I'm sure Helen's probably got her Halloween decorations up already. Um, but the it still sort of feels like a little bit warm, it sort of feels like we've got sort of a late summer vibe going on. So I'm still sitting in like the late summer, early autumn meridian lines. Okay. So this is kind of the element of earth is for late summer. And then moving in towards the element of metal, which is for the autumnal lines. So spleen and stomach, and then also lungs and large intestine. So I'm just going to do a bit of a hybridy mashup type practice, sort of, and it's fine to combine all these things. So there's so much crossover in yin anyway, that you do one, you can't isolate these things. Yeah. So let's just get stuck in. Okay. But my main focus tonight I'm feeling that my main focus tonight is going to be around the element of earth, mainly because it's just really grounding. This time of year, I feel there's a lot of change happening, whether it's starting new projects or starting a new academic year. It's change of season. So I'll just stop talking. We'll just get on, yeah? So how about let's start lying down. We'll also start our first couple of yin postures will also be lying down as well. So you just might want to make sure everything's within reach so that you don't need to kind of have to get up too much and move stuff around. Okay. So I'm going to bring a little blanket just underneath my head. And do remember, if anything weird is happening with my connection, just send me a chat message just so I know. And that'd be super great. Okay. So let's come to lie on the back of the body. Just making sure you're as comfortable as possible. And I forgot to mention props. I think you all know the score, but just get everything. Okay. Cushions, blankets, bolsters, whatever you've got, bring it in. Okay. So as we come onto the back of the body, just see how it feels to bend your knees, soles of the feet flat to the mat. And you can place the hands maybe onto your belly or a little bit higher perhaps, so onto the area of the rib cage. And you can have the feet reasonably wide and your knees touching together if that works. Okay. Remember, you can also have your legs extended. You might want to bring your bolster or some cushions under your knees. So just double checking your chin hasn't lifted too high into the air. So just keep a little drop of your chin. Very gentle. A full smooth inhale through the nose and perhaps a gentle sigh out through the mouth. So you're welcome to take that a couple more times. And just gently falling into your practice. I just invite you here to just come into the points of contact at the back of your body, releasing down into the earth. And I'd just like to share with you a poem, just as we settle in. So this is by a poet called Mary Ann Byrne. I've been sharing it all week. A friend shared it with me at the weekend. And it's called In the Quiet Heartbeat of Now. The world keeps turning, yet here I stand. Moments slip like water through my fingers. Tasks beckon, phones ping, clocks keep ticking, and still I breathe. Even the smallest acts, folding laundry, pouring tea, watering a plant, become portals into presence. The scent of coffee rises, warm, familiar. The cup rests in my hands. Its heat seeps into my fingers. Its aroma grounds me. Steps on the pavement, soft, deliberate. The wind brushes my face. The sun lingers on my shoulders, and the world slows around me. I am simply here. Each leaf, each sound, each breath calls me to be present, to observe, to savor, to exist fully. I discover peace, not in escaping, but in arriving again and again in the quiet heartbeat of now. So just checking in with how your body feels and noticing the realm of your body. You might want to scan from the top of your head right down to your toes. And be aware of how does the body feel right now. And then scanning into the quality of your breath. Just noticing the ebb and the flow of the breath, whether it's short or long or shallow or deep, doesn't matter. Just noticing. And then noticing how is your mind. It's meeting yourself where you are. And how is your mood? So if you have the space, just with kind awareness, taking the arms either at the shoulder height or perhaps more into that very soft cactus shape. And we can have the feet now about on the mat there, knees bent, and the feet can be about mat width apart roughly. And let's separate the knees. So we'll just go through a little windscreen wiper with the legs from here. So as you exhale, knees falling to one side. Inhaling to the center. See if you can take the whole of your next breath to carry your knees to the left as you exhale. Inhaling to center. Exhaling to the right. Inhaling up. And exhale to the left. Inhaling up. Okay, next time, let's go over to the right one more time. How about let's stay here for a few breaths. And you're very welcome just to hook that outer right ankle to the outside of the left knee. Sending the breath all the way into the lower belly with the inhale. And an easy, soft exhale. Unhook that foot. Come back to center. Inhaling, exhale over to the left. And then you might want to hook that left foot across the right knee. Keep it really easy, really soft. No rush. Just keep tapping in, tuning in. How is the body? How is the breath? Where is the mind? Come back to center when you're ready. Hugging the knees in. A little roll around from side to side. And then from here, let's take the legs long. And how about just a nice big stretch through the body? So you might want to flex the feet, press the heels away. Oh, maybe a big stretch to one side. Maybe a big yawn. Other side. And then how about let's come into banana asana. So I'm just going to gently clasp my hands behind my head and walk my feet over to the right side. Then lift my torso, place my torso to the right as well. And just stay with the breath right here. Full inhale. Full exhale. Okay, when you're ready, let's change sides. Walk yourself back to center. Bring your torso back to center. And then adjust yourself to the second side. Nice and easy and soft in the jawbone. And just see if you can explore the anchor of your breath. Smooth exhale. Okay, when you're ready, coming back to center, readjust the legs, and perhaps a little hugging in of the knees. You might want to have the knees quite wide, yeah, and then rock around a little bit from side to side. So one more thing to do right here. Let's return the soles of the feet to the mat. And you can remove the blanket from under the head. You might want to keep it there. I tend to get a headache if I keep my blanket there for bridge. So just see what suits you. So let's bend the knees, soles of the feet down to the mat. Now, this is a bit like bridge, but we'll just play with it slightly. What we can do from here is before you lift up, right, tilt your pelvis so the tailbone moves towards the mat. You'll create a little arch in your back there. Yeah, tailbone moves down towards the mat. Now from here, start to move the tailbone under, pressing into the feet. Exhale, come up into bridge. Inhale just where you are, pressing into the feet. Maybe the body gently opens. And exhale, ripple down through your spine. And then when you land, once your pelvis lands, and keep the tailbone moving towards the mat, you once again create that little back arch when you land. And then from here, tailbone moves under. Exhale, press into the feet. Come on up. Inhale, release into your feet a little more. And exhale, ripple down. And then when you land, one more round. Inhale, tailbone moves towards the mat. And then exhale, pressing into the feet, tailbone moves under, rolling up. Inhale like you're being carried on that in-breath. And exhale, let's ripple down. So once again, you're very welcome to hug the knees in, okay? Give them a little hug. Roll about. See how it all feels. All right. So we'll get ready for the first yin posture, which is going to be, you're going to stay just where you are. And it's going to be a supine twist, okay? Or a supine rotation. So what you can do is you might want to bring that support back under your head. Now, what I was going to invite you to do here is to take that variation. You know how you start, say you start lying on your side, right? And you take that thing where you're just like a giant book and you'll open up, inhale where you are, and then exhale, you close, right? So I was going to invite you to do that 3 times. And then the 4th time when you open up into the spiral, then you'll stay there, okay, for a couple of minutes. Let's maybe go for 3 minutes, okay? So what you might want to do is place a little support underneath the legs. Now, just shifting your pelvis a little bit to the left, and then take the legs over to the right, but then also let your body come to. So you're actually lying on the right side. Now, if you're less tight than I am, you might be really happy, yeah, just having the legs on the floor. I'm going to bring the floor closer, and you can also put a little something between the legs, okay? And of course, you might want that support under your head. So here we are on the side body. Let's take a moment, just noticing the earth underneath you and the points of contact, the body meeting the earth. Now with the in-breath, start to reach your top hand beyond the bottom one, inhaling, and then start to open up. Exhale, you might need to adjust your shoulders a little bit, and you land in that spiral. Even if the arm is floating for now, okay, that's cool. Inhale where you are, and then exhale, let's close it back up. So twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale just where you are. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale, landing in that rotation. Inhale just where you are. And then closing up. Exhale. So now the 4th time we'll get ready to stay. Okay, so inhale. And exhale. So give yourself a little moment to construct the posture. Okay. So you might want to bring a little support underneath your arms, or underneath the raised arm, I should say. So what I'm going to end up doing for this is I'm just got my blanket underneath my left arm. My left elbow is quite bent, and it's resting, so it's supporty, so I'm not hanging, okay? And then the right hand can rest onto the left knee or just somewhere in that area, okay? Now, one more thing I'd like to suggest here. What you could do is you could shift your knees a little higher if you want, okay, up towards the armpit. It doesn't have to go too far, yeah. You're welcome to keep the knees at hip height or lower, or move them higher. If you're moving them higher, you're tapping into that lung energy just a little bit more, okay? So take your time to construct the posture. Maybe a couple of sighs. And allowing the posture and gravity and your breath just to do the work. One breath at a time. Please remember, if you start to experience any pins and needles or weird feelings, especially in the fingers of the left hand, you might want to adjust your head a little bit, adjust your neck. So staying with the inhale, staying with the exhale. Just into the final minute here. No rush. So taking your time, taking a full inhale just where you are. Maybe a gentle sigh. Inhaling again fully. And now as you exhale, bringing your legs back to center. So take a moment before we go to the second side. You might want to adjust your support a little bit, maybe adjust the hips. And just feel free to hug the knees in a little, have a little roll around, just be really mindful. You might want to just come back into that little bridge, lifting up this time, maybe on the in-breath. Rolling down on the out-breath. Tailbone drops. And again, you can inhale to roll up, really gentle. And exhale. So now we'll get ready for the second side. So you're welcome just to take yourself all the way onto the left side. I'm just turning around, so I've not got my back to you. Okay, so we're going to start on the left side body. And taking that book move 3 times, okay? And the 4th time we'll land and stay. Inhale, reaching. And exhale to land. Inhale just where you are. And exhale to close. All right, twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale just where you are. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, the breath can wash collarbone all the way to the right fingers. And exhale, closing out. So now going in for the 4th time, and this time, this is when we can stay. So any adjustments you'd like to make, go ahead. Just keep listening to how it all feels through the sacroiliac joint and through the legs. And just keep checking in yourself. And you can just feel gravity take you down into the earth. So you're very welcome to close your eyes. So tuning in to each breath. Inviting yourself to become very present to the sensations that might be ebbing and flowing in the body. Following that journey of your inhale. And the journey of your exhale. Just another half a minute here. Inhale just where you are. Exhaling completely. Inhale just where you are. And then with the exhale, let's close up this shape. Let's take a little moment so you can be on the side body. Let's take a little pause right here. Taking your time is absolutely no rush. If it's okay for you, we can go straight into Sphinx pose from here, okay? So you might find that you're just happy rolling onto your belly. Okay? How much can we do without actually getting up? So as you come onto your belly, what you could do, now I know I'm saying, what can we do without getting up? But you might want to have your bolster underneath your rib cage. Okay. So from here, you can take your bolster under the rib cage. Forearms to the mat. And the legs are extending. Okay. So to see how that feels in your body, if it doesn't work, that's fine. Now remember, you can always put a little something under your head. I often tend to favor like one of the foam blocks, and I'll stand it on its sort of, I'll put it between my hands on its high edge, and I'll let my forehead rest on that top block. Okay, if that works. So just see how it all goes. Just take any little movements that you might want to do. So laying for about 3 minutes here. But please remember that you're in charge. And if it's pinching at all, just slide yourself forward. You're just taking less out of the back. Okay, so stay very, very tuned in and present. Okay, to how everything feels. Inviting your shoulder blades to gently rest down on your back. So the element of earth reminds us that we are on the earth and we are of the earth and we belong to the earth and to one another. Earth reminds us that we are our greatest strength, okay, when we join together in caring. So what can you let go of? Exploring, softening around the edges just a little bit more. Inviting that smooth journey of each breath. There's no rush. But when you're ready, if you're without the bolster, you might feel happy to come straight forward and rest on your belly, okay? If you're like me and you've got the bolster, you're welcome to press into the hands. Bring yourself back and you can curl back into child's pose. The same thing as well if you're without bolster. Yes, you can curl back and just give yourself a moment. Just resting here, okay? Now we've got the similar posture to do in a second, which you might want the bolster for, but for now, let's just stay for 5 more breaths. All right. So from here, we can come back into Sphinx with or without the bolster, or you might find you prefer to come to seal pose. Now, I've been favoring a lot recently a seal pose, but with the bolster kind of underneath either my hips, depending on the day, or kind of more around my thighs. I'm going to go sort of upper thigh, okay, today. So it's helping to keep my lower back just a little bit longer. I've just taken my hands about mat width apart here and turned my fingers out to the side. So my hands are like little flippers. The arms become like posts. Now remember, you don't have to do this. You can stay in Sphinx. And here we are. And allowing the shoulder blades to rest on the back. Be 2 minutes stay here. Giving that very gentle softness to the face, to the jawbone. Remember, you're in charge. You can come out whenever you like, okay? Stay with your breath. And if you like to use color in your practice, if color works for you, I invite you here just to visualize or have a sense of kind of a golden yellow. Okay, so the color for the earth element and spleen and stomach channels is the color yellow. I like to kind of consider it like a late summer sun or an early autumnal sun. A little bit golden, late in the afternoon. Let's take another 5 breaths. Okay. So when you're ready, if you're up and still, then you might just want to lower your knee just off the mat if you're on the bolster, okay? And then just start to slowly bring yourself back, okay? Or you just come down to lie on the front of the body. I'm personally just going to hang out with my forearms on the bolster. You might be happy just laying flat on your front on the floor, okay? And if you're lying on the front body, let's just come on, let's all meet either on the hands and knees, or we can find our way into child's pose. I'm just going to set my bolster off to the side for now. And let's roll through a little bit of cat-cow. So in breath, rocking us up and through. Rolling the heart forward. And exhale, either doming or we can curl back, hips to heels, forehead to mat. 3 more. And then when you're ready, let's just take a little pause in that child's pose. Okay, take your time. Let's come up to kneeling and let's swing our legs around and we'll just pause for a moment, okay? You might want to bring a little something underneath the lower body. I'll get my cushion. You can take one hand onto your heart, one hand onto your belly. Just pausing here. Just noticing the imprint of what you've done so far. Just notice how it's all landing with you. Okay, so there's no rush. Just release the arms. And you can let the eyes open. Okay, so I've got another front expander to do, okay, which you're totally in charge of course, as always. So you can work this to a degree that you like to work with. All right. So what we're going to aim to do here is I'm going to take a brick, right? I'm going to do a medium height brick. I'm also, oh, sorry, it's a bit out of shot. There we go, a medium height brick. Got everything a bit too close today. There we are. Right. And I'm going to cover the edge of my brick with my blanket just to kind of soften the edges. Okay. Right. Let me just quickly show you this next little sequence because it's, I haven't taught this one in this way much. Okay. You've also got the option of having something underneath the extended leg. So I'm going to get that ready right now. So that's going to stay there. If you haven't got a bolster, you can either do it without, okay, or you might have cushions or a rolled blanket Might also be good, or some pillows. Then we'll come into the supporty bridge. Just get my stuff that I've already prepared. So I'm just going to stand on my bolster for a second, lift the hips, bring that brick underneath me, and then land my hips back down. So probably a posture that I think you're all quite familiar with. Support your bridge, yeah, on that brick, and just get settled in. All right. And then what I was going to invite you to do today was to extend one leg long, and maybe the arms come overhead. That'll tap into the lung energy a little bit. Okay, you can do both, but that's quite a lot, I find. So I tend to do one at a time. And that bolster or prop can go underneath the back of the extended leg thigh, okay? So to see how that feels, I'll let you just take a moment to find your way in. If you don't want to extend the legs, that's fine, yeah. Keep the feet flat on the mat, knees are bent. Part of the focus of doing this is I'm just trying to tap into this hip flexor just a little bit more. Because after this, we'll do saddle, okay? You'll be thrilled to know. So what can you do to cultivate a little more ease in the shape that you're taking? One breath at a time. So as you allow yourself to stay with the sensations, noticing the rise and the fall of the thoughts in the mind. And if you find it useful to name these thoughts, or it's often called noting or labeling, whatever comes up, thoughts, feelings, it might be planning, planning, planning. So you repeat it in the mind, almost like you're holding that right there. Maybe it's restlessness, restlessness, restlessness. Perhaps it's itching, itching, itching. So you're just holding whatever comes up. And then see how it feels to then come back to that very gentle anchor of your breath. The anchor of your breath. Just a few more breaths on this first side. Then when you feel ready, if you have one leg extended, you can then bend it, stand on it, and extend the other. So I'm actually allowing my foot to just stand on my bolster. You might find you want to put it somewhere else, that's fine. Hinge of the jawbone, easy and soft. Perhaps that slightly lengthened exhalation. Often in an evening practice, it can be really nice to have a slightly longer exhale. Take your time. Let's take a few more breaths. Perhaps because this posture or shape, you can maybe extend both legs if that's available for you. And just take that line through the whole body. So to exit this shape, what I suggest here is to, if you've got the bolster, you can stand the feet on the bolster. Lift your hips, right? Now, if you're feeling the medium edge bolster, right? Oh, take it easy. You can lift up the pelvis, perhaps flip the brick onto its like lower edge, land your hips down, okay? Give yourself a little moment. Just letting yourself decompress. And then from here, you can lift the hips again. Now I've got a bolster here, so I'm going to just move my brick off to the side, just underneath me. Lower the hips down. And either just remain right there, or what might be quite nice is you can just cross your shins. So your like little sukhasana legs, and they can rest on that bolster. And that could be a really nice way just to get the whole chain of the back just to release down into the mat. Let's take a number of breaths here. Okay. So we're going to find our way back up to sitting just in a second, but please take your time, yeah? So you might find it's nice to roll to your side and just take a little moment on the side body. And then you can bring yourself all the way back up. So before we go into saddle, let's just pause once again. Maybe a little something under the hips. And pause. Place one hand or both hands onto the heart or on the belly. Excuse me, yawn. Just a little reading here. This is some words by Kabir. Something that I often consider, especially when things are sort of going into their dormant phase. Don't go outside your house to see the flowers. My friend, don't bother with that excursion. Inside your own body, there are flowers. One flower has 1,000 petals. Excuse me. I'd like to invite you now just to come into, well, it's up to you. Okay. You might want to come into saddle if that's your happy place. Maybe you want to work with half saddle, and I'll show you these in a second, okay? Or an alternative would also be taking the recline over a bolster. Okay, so I'll show this one first. If you're thinking, oh, I like the sound of that reclining bolster one, you can take your bolster flat on the floor, blanket maybe under the head. You could also raise the end of the bolster with a block. Okay, I'll just quickly do that for a demo. Here we are. I'm going to go for a low edge of brick. And then a little blanket to stop my head kind of tilting back. Okay. And then from here, you can cross the shins, or if you have the luxury of another bolster, okay, or some cushions, you can bring your feet into butterfly shape, knees out to the side, okay, and then recline back. So from here, you'll be working this recline, okay? If you prefer to go for saddle, the half variation is taking one foot by the side of the hip there, so from the outside of the hip, and then you can stand on the other leg, and you can always have a little block underneath the opposite hip if you're feeling a little bit like you're tipping to the side, okay? So that also can be really nice, all right? And if you prefer to go into saddle, you might want some extra padding underneath the knees and the shins, sitting back on the heels, and then you can go back with or without a bolster, okay? All right, so if you're going for the half variation, I'll keep an eye on my timer, and we're going to aim for 2 minutes each side, okay? And remembering once again that you are in charge, okay? So if you need to come out sooner, then do. So give yourself plenty of time just to feel around a little bit. As I was saying earlier, how we're in this time of year where this sort of movement between sort of the end of the summer and into towards autumn and the autumn equinox. And so as we look at nourishing the earth element, often when the element of earth and the spleen and the stomach energy are feeling a little bit dysregulated, or the chi isn't moving quite so fluidly, we might find that we're feeling a bit distracted or a bit dull, foggy, a little bit distant. But by looking after the element of earth and nourishing the spleen and stomach, it can help us feel more nourished, help us to calm down those anxious inner voices, allow us to be more caring to ourselves and then to others. Okay, if you're in the half variation, just a couple more breaths. Remembering if you need to adjust your posture, if you're taking any of the other variations, then please go ahead, okay? All right, so it's up to you. I trust you guys, okay? So if you want to, you can wriggle the leg out and just slip the other one back in, okay? Or you might prefer bring yourself back up to sitting, extend both legs, and then change them, okay? Whatever works for you, okay? Taking yourself in. So this posture is also nourishing the lung energy, the metal element. through this openness through the midline. And if the arms are overhead, you're also tapping into the meridians that are in the arms. Okay. And if your arms are not overhead, don't worry. I'll build on the autumn work more in next month, in October. But often the essence of the element of metal is bringing us to a place where we can hold on to what is precious to us and let go of what we don't need. Remember, pins and needles, I would adjust the shape. Let's just take another 5 or so breaths, okay? All right. So moving slowly, slowly, slow like a tortoise. You might want to just weave the legs out where they are, okay? Or you'll press into the hands, exhale, bring yourself up. You might want to undo the legs from here, or just find any other way you'd like to undo the legs, okay? And maybe a little bit of inner knee massage, just see how that goes. You can lean back into the hands and just take a little bit of gentle movement of the legs. Maybe a windscreen wiper is always quite nice, isn't it? Just rock you from side. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of options for the next posture. Okay. So just see how you feel. Things I've got all this stuff here. I'll just quickly show you one of the options. It was more of a restorative twist, or it often gets called twisting tiger, this posture. So what you could do, keep the bolster elevated, or I'm going to just lower it and lose that rig. And then it's the one where you drop onto the hip near the bolster, okay? And the legs, you can have just resting there like a little support. And I might put a little blanket or something or a cushion just between my knee and my foot, all right? And it's that restorative spiral. So you stand yourself over the bolster. I like putting my hands under the head end. And either keep facing the same way your knees are pointing, or you lift and turn and you face away from the way the knees are pointing, okay? So that's one version. Another version you could do is a wide knee child's pose with that twist. Okay, so I'll just quickly do it. So you've kind of got the legs a little bit saddle-esque, yeah? So you're sitting back on the heels, all right? Knees can be quite wide. And then let's see, I'm gonna actually just gonna grab this blanket, maybe 2 blankets under my head. And some people I teach, you know, when I see people do this in person, a lot of folks like reaching up to the sky with one hand. I sometimes find that a bit much, to be honest, it's just on my body, but it might work for you. So you inhale, you can reach up with the right arm and then weave the arm through the left. And just give yourself plenty of time to construct the posture, okay? Feel free to close the gap between the hips and the heels with a cushion or something, or a blanket. And just feel your way in. So you've either got the bolster twist Well, you'll bring yourself into that wide knee child's pose shape with a twist. Okay. So I'll just let you find your way into that. It'll be 2 minutes on each side. And just wherever you are in this shape, you might want to come back through these realms of your being. So noticing how is your body, perhaps noticing the touch points of where your body is meeting the earth. How is the quality of your breath? How is your mind? How is your mood? Maybe a slightly longer exhale. Just a few more breaths. So when you're ready, if you're doing that bolster twist, just lift and turn yourself so you're facing the same way your knees are pointing if you turned. Okay. And take your time to draw yourself out of the posture and then change sides. If you're taking the wide knee child's pose, then you can gently press into the left hand. Gently draw yourself out. Now, if it might work for you, you might want to reach up and open again to the right side. Return the hand back down and maybe a moment in child's pose. You might even want to move the body a little bit. So perhaps you want to just reach out through one leg, take a little bit of movement, rocking forward with the inhale, rocking back with the exhale. Just a little bit of extension maybe through the legs before you change sides. Something quite nice, isn't it? All right. So let's get ready for the second side. So bolster, just flip yourself around, okay? Going over that bolster. If you're in the wide knee child's, maybe the left arm reaches up as you open to the left side. And as you exhale, let's weave it through. As you go in, just give yourself a little bit of negotiation as you feed the arm through, okay? So as you breathe here, I'd like to share a poem with you. This is called A Staggering Truth, and it's by Dana Full. The staggering truth of who and what we really are either shines forth in brilliance or hides in the shadows. It's a choice we make many times each day to show up in fullness or remain inside what's comfortable and known. The world needs light right now. It needs the staggering truth to be revealed in and through our lives. Will you join me in being seen as whole, awakening souls, grounded in love and reaching out to do what we can for each other? I'll meet you at the intersection of action and contemplation, where body, mind, and heart align with something infinitely greater. Gazing in your eyes, I'll be your clear mirror, if you'll be mine. So taking that full in breath just where you are, and your full out breath. So if you're on the bolster, give yourself a moment to turn to face back to where you started. Take your time. If you're in the wide knee child, just press into the right hand, weave the left arm out, and maybe a little opening round if you want to, or just let yourself pause. This can sometimes feel like quite challenging postures to exit. I find there's a lot going on in those postures. So just take your time, let yourself come on out, and we'll all meet on the hands and knees, okay? Like a sea of blankets here. So many things. It's all good. All right. So let's do a little bit of just a little bit of cat cow. We'll just rock and roll through the spine. Inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to round. Inhale. Just keep going. You might prefer to curl back to that long child pose, okay? See how you feel. Inhale. Let's just do that 3 more times. Got 1 more to do. Okay, so take your time. We've got 1 more posture to do before we move into Shavasana. So let's come into butterfly. Or you might find you've got another forward fold that you would like to do. Yeah. So for butterfly, you'll bring the soles of the feet together. And you know what you could do here? I was doing this actually the other day. I've been doing it all week in my classes. You can give yourself a little bit of self massage. So if you were to just consider that sort of inner edge of your instep, okay, and you can just walk your thumbs up that inner edge, maybe down again, and then back up, and just around the ankle. Now, as you come up past your ankle, start to come up through the inner leg. Now, from here, you know, if you feel with your thumbs, you can feel like the shin bone, and then you let the thumbs kind of slide in and down, and then you might notice almost like a little trench between the shin bone and the calf muscle. Okay. So you might find that you've got this little divot and it goes right up. So what you can do here is let your thumbs drop into that little trench and go really gently, because I could find that it's pretty tender in spaces here. You can start to walk the thumbs up all the way up to the knee. Oh, it gets really tender in different spots. And then back down again. This is your spleen line underneath the skin. You can come back up again. And my thumbs get really tight when I do this, so I'm probably doing it too strongly. But just fine, make sure you don't create too much unnecessary effort or this tension. Okay, so if you might want to do that a bit longer, or you might enough. Okay, so give yourself what you need. And then the plan is to then fold forward. Okay, now you can use something underneath the knees. Yeah, you might prefer to take a bolster, maybe a brick as well. Come on forward. Yeah. If you're feeling particularly tight today, remember that's fine. And extend the legs. I like a little block sometimes under my hips. That can be quite nice as well. And then you might prefer to, instead of coming quite far forward, you can lean on your bolster. Okay. Okay. Just gently, gently finding your way into that space. Okay. Allowing yourself just to very gently close inward. Easy lengthened exhale. Helping us turn inwards just a little bit more. As we make our shift into the autumn month, we're moving more into our more dormant, composting time of year. So we can consider our personal harvest of the year gone by. Just another minute here. Gently, gently, gently breathing in, and gently breathing. So keeping it slow and as quiet as possible. You can start to bring yourself up at butterfly or your forward fold, and you can reach the legs out. Maybe have a little lift of the chest. And then from here, moving into Shavasana. If you feel happier staying seated, then feel free to get into a nice comfortable seated position. Okay. You might want to have your back against the wall. You might prefer to lie on your side or lying on the back of the body, bolster or some support underneath the legs. So you can also take your legs up onto your sofa or onto your bed or up the wall. Okay, many options. So just give yourself just some time just to feel your way in. As you settle into the shape of Shavasana, you can allow your jawbone to relax, forehead smooth and wide, and your eyes resting deep in the pools of their sockets. As you feel the surface underneath you, the element of earth reminding us that we are on the earth and of the earth, and we belong to the earth. We belong to each other, collective community. Slowly, slowly begin to deepen the breath. Perhaps breathing some gentle awareness into the fingers and into the toes. Might want to take a little rock of the head from side to side. So a slow awakening, unless you're really, really comfortable. And you want to stay there, that's fine. Perhaps inviting a lovely stretch, a hugging of the knees. Please take your time, there's no rush. You can roll yourself to one side and bring yourself to sitting, or find your most comfortable journey back to sitting. So as you find your way back up to sitting, taking a little pause and just gently observing the imprint of your practice. This time that you've made for yourself, like a little tiny retreat. And let's take 3 ohms to seal our practice together this evening. So I invite you to bring the hands together, taking a full in-breath. And may the merits of our practice bring us the benefit of stability and ease and joy in our lives. But then may the merits of our practice bring benefit to all those who we engage with, all beings who we interact with as we walk our path. Thank you so much, everybody. Namaste. I want to thank you all so much for joining. Oh, thanks, Helen, and for taking this time for yourself, because in today's rush, carving out 90 minutes for yourself is actually quite a big deal. So I want to thank you for that. So no need to put your cameras on if you're just totally like, that's how I feel. I'm going to go to bed. Thanks. Oh, nice to see you. Nice to see you guys. So take it easy and lots of love. You'll get the recording by tomorrow morning at some point. And oh, blanketed Amy. Oh, thanks, Amy. Yeah, little retreat. So nice. Oh, but take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. Good night. Night, night.